We can be so harsh on ourselves in a way that we would never be if we were talking to a child. Our younger self does live inside us. It's so deeply in our subconscious. So a really nice way of getting to talk to our younger self is actually through an exercise that my mum taught me. So much of the work that people are trying to do around being whimsy is truly just connecting to their inner child. This is the same girl. This is me. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Because I actually worked on an in-person journal workshop here in Melbourne, I just didn't end up vlogging as much as I should have, and it kind of really inspired me to bring what I did in the workshop to YouTube so that you guys can do some of it at home. I think a lot of times you create the work you need, and that's definitely me with inner child work. Like, I have been on my own journey of doing my inner child work. It's come up so much in therapy for me and just in life. So I'm really excited to kind of share some exercises and journal prompts and things that you can do to connect to your inner child, heal your inner child. Inner child work is used so much in therapy and therapeutic practices. However, I'm not a therapist. This is not a therapy video. I'm just wanting to share with you guys some things that I have done that have helped me and some journal prompts and activities that you guys can do. So if any of this brings up things for you that you feel like you need to work through, I highly recommend reach out to a professional. Inner child work can be super uplifting, but it can also really hit so deeply. So this video really is just about connecting to that inner child, what you need, really giving yourself permission and safety to feel joy, to feel the whole spectrum of emotions, to meet your needs, to be creative, to get over that inner critic perfectionist brain that kind of tells us what we can or can't do. One thing that I really knew I wanted to do in the journal workshop was I wanted the first exercise to be about seeing your younger self in a photo and putting it in your journal. I've mentioned this in past vlogs, but I always love to have a photo of my younger self, either on the front of my journal or in the front page. For those of you who don't know, I actually have a journal brand. This is my journal, the Humble Ego journal. It is like the most beautiful open spine and it lays completely flat. I just crafted my dream journal, to be honest. But one of the things when I was designing this journal that I knew I wanted was just to keep the front cover super minimal so that if people did want to draw on it, accessorize it, put a photo on it, they can. So for the first part of the workshop, I actually asked all the attendees prior to the workshop to send me a photo of their younger self that felt like it sparked joy or that they loved in some way. And then I ended up printing them out as Polaroids so that they could stick them in or on their journal. If you don't have a Polaroid of yourself as a kid or you don't have a Polaroid printer, you can literally just print it out anywhere as a normal printer. It doesn't need to be fancy, but I just think that having a photo of your younger self that you have to see every day, whether you put it on your journal or you put it on a mirror or on a wall where you see it every day, is just such a nice reminder of the inner child we have within, because we truly as adults are carrying this inner child inside us everywhere we go, which is so special and funny. And I don't know, I just think it's so cute that we're these like adults walking around, but inside we have these little versions of ourselves that are like screaming at us or like, you know, telling us to play or that they want something that they never got. We can be so harsh on ourselves in a way that we would never be if we were talking to a child. Like, the things we say to ourselves, I don't think I would ever say to a child or anyone usually anyway. Having a photo of your younger self is like this reminder of, this is who I'm talking to when I talk to myself, and to be kind and compassionate and patient, because yeah, you might be older now, but you are still you, and you still carry all of those things that that little you wanted and needed. At the end of the workshop, we actually ended up taking photos again of all the participants. So everyone put in like a photo of their younger self and their current self. And I think, again, that's just such a nice way to be able to integrate the fact that you have little you inside. So as well as having my baby photo on the front cover, I've also just put like a more current Polaroid of me inside. I just think that it's special to be able to remember that this is the same girl. This is me. A massive thing to understand about inner child work is that as children, we learn what love is, safetyness, worthiness through the way we're treated. And when we as a child aren't met in the right way or aren't supported or nurtured, we end up carrying these needs into our adulthood, and then they show up in versions of perfectionism, people pleasing, insecurities, self abandonment, fear of rejection, difficulty resting. There's so much that comes up that often stems from these little versions of us that we learn and absorb through the world of who we should be, how we should act, how we should feel. And they don't often always serve us. Sometimes they're there because we're trying to protect ourselves, because we're trying to do the right thing. But often they're restrictive and not actually letting us be and listen to our needs. And so another exercise I really love in figuring out what those needs that we needed are is actually having a conversation with our younger self. This can feel really vulnerable and weird, but you just have to lean into it and trust, because our younger self does live inside us. It's so deeply in our subconscious. So a really nice way of getting to talk to our younger self is actually through an exercise that my mum taught me, which is asking our younger self questions in our journal like, what did you need growing up? Or even simply, what are you trying to tell me? And you write that with your dominant hand. So if you're left-handed, you would just write normally like, what do you wish you knew from me? And then let your younger self answer in your other hand. So if you're left-handed, you would use your right hand to then answer as your younger self. It can feel crazy because you realize you just don't have as much control, and it does feel like this child version of you that doesn't actually fully have control of their body yet, but it really, really does help connect to that part of yourself and be really curious, like, what do they need? For some people, this might be really hard. Some people, it might just flow out of them. You know, your inner child might have a lot to say. Maybe it doesn't even have anything to say and it just wants to draw, and that's fine. Your inner child doesn't need to perform, it just wants to be listened to and acknowledged. And I think it's just about showing up and seeing what comes. And so I think this exercise is just a really beautiful one to do, to kind of step into your subconscious and see what comes up for you. Like, what does your inner child actually want to say? What parts of them feel like maybe they're not being held, or what do they maybe want to say thank you for? Maybe it's truly you as an adult being able to tell your inner child how far you've come and how much work you've done. Or maybe younger you has questions of, you know, what is your life like now? The conversation you have with your inner child is really between you and you. So there's no right or wrong, but I think just asking at the beginning, you know, is there anything you want to tell me? Or in what areas do you feel like your needs weren't met, is a really nice place to start. If you want to go a bit deeper, I'm going to leave some prompts here on the screen that you can screenshot. These are just for like your dominant hand, just normal journaling prompts. They are really good indicators and ways to go a little bit deeper and see maybe where there's some wounds or where there's some healing that needs to be done. At this point, we're in conversation with our inner child. We have done some back and forth, and I think that's when it's really, really nice to be able to start looking at how can we meet our inner child's needs and have conversations with them and stay in touch with them in our day-to-day life. So now that you've kind of maybe talked to your inner child, you might be clear about what areas of your life maybe need to be worked on. Maybe it's incorporating more play or more creativity or softness or connection or joy without productivity. Obviously, we have to work with the life we live as adults. We're not children. We have a lot more to deal with, but that's where it's just about incorporating little things that feel manageable, whether it be something small every day or something small every week. I think it's really interesting. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's definitely been a massive rise in whimsiness. Everyone's kind of talking about being more whimsical, and I really like it, but I think it clicked only after this workshop that so much of the work that people are trying to do around being whimsy is truly just connecting to their inner child. Something about being whimsical is creating that sense of play and joy and curiosity and creativity in our everyday lives. My friend Amber Shegwin actually on her TikTok often makes little TikToks sharing what her and her friends are doing to incorporate more whimsical energy in their everyday lives. And I just love it. I think you should definitely check her out. I'll link her TikTok down below. But I just loved the fact that it was just these little things that add that little kind of sense of excitement and magic in our everyday life. And so I highly recommend maybe write a little list of like little whimsical things you can do in your day-to-day life. They don't have to be crazy. Some of the things I loved that people were doing was like getting, star-shaped ice cube trays. So every time they had that iced coffee or matcha in the morning, they had little star ice cubes to just make it a little bit more exciting. Another thing I've been loving seeing people do is just making their breakfast a little bit more fun and exciting by like putting little faces on it. Other things I saw people saying online is even just the simplicity of making a wish at 11:11 or having angel numbers, or every time you see one of those, what do you call it, dandelions, you like blow and make a wish. Things like that that just add that child element is so fun. I think also bringing your friends into it is really cute, like talking to your friends and being like, I think we should have a play date, because I think as adults sometimes we see our friends, but it's only for dinners and coffees and maybe alcohol is involved or whatever, but just sometimes arranging more of like a let's have a play date and maybe you have a little crafty night or something can be such a healing way to connect to that inner child. So for this next exercise, I really highly recommend not only writing a list of whimsical things that you want to try in your everyday life, but also create a little vision board on Pinterest. You guys know how much I love my vision boards on Pinterest, and I create a little inner child one. I can leave it linked down below if you guys want some inspiration. But it's just like a lot of different photos and quotes and things that just connect you to that childlike play. And like for me, there's a lot of Winnie the Pooh in it because I loved Winnie the Pooh growing up, or ladybugs were a really big theme in my childhood. Things like that that just connect you to that inner child is so fun and special. A massive thing for me with inner child work is just getting over the perfectionism. It's kind of the inner critic versus the inner child, and really just allowing ourselves to be curious and to love things. I think like love is so vulnerable. People that really love a show or a book, like to really love something feels really vulnerable to me. And I think that it's so fun as kids, you're so shamelessly like, yeah, I love, this. And then as an adult, I think we're so much more aware of what the things we love would say about us or how it would be perceived. So I think so much of inner child healing is also about kind of saying to the inner critic, thank you, but I don't actually need you to protect me. I am safe to love and play and be curious. A huge thing with inner child work that I think is so uplifting as well is just being curious. As kids, we're learning all about the world, so we're constantly asking, what does this mean? What does that mean? Why did that lady do that to that man? Oh, that sounded really weird, but you know what I mean. Like, kids are literally shameless. They're constantly asking questions. You're so curious, and as adults, I think we're so scared to ask a dumb question, or we feel like we should already know, or we just lose our spark of being curious. And I saw a reel recently, I don't remember the influencer, I wish I could shout her out, but it was so beautiful. She talked about curiosity mapping and how as adults it can be so fun to just, I don't know, write some things that you're curious about, and then from that kind of create a bit of a mind map of like, through that interest, what more specifically are you interested in? Because it can feel overwhelming as an adult as well. There's so much to know, especially in the world that we live in, where you can Google anything. There's a billion books. You can ask ChatGPT. Sometimes it's harder to just choose, okay, what is one thing that I want to be curious about? And it can be the most niche random thing, or it can be something that's maybe very obvious to other people that you never explored. Inner child work isn't just a one-time workshop or experience. It's a lifetime of having a relationship with yourself, and at different points in your life, different things will come up. If you do this video now, you'll probably have a different experience in a year from now. And that's what's so special, because we're constantly growing and evolving, and that's what it's about. And so I think if I want to leave you with anything with this video is just be curious, be kind and open to your inner child. Really listen to them, see what they need, and try to give that to yourself in little ways. As a kid, I remember every time it would rain, I just wanted to dance in the rain, and I would go out and just like boggy, and now I'm finding myself running around in the city like covering my straight hair, like trying not to get it wet. And then I have to be like, what am I doing? Like, these are these little moments in our life that we get opportunities to just make it fun and playful and give our inner child that permission. Just seeing the way that being whimsy and whimsical is trending across social media is just showing me even more so how much as humans we are craving play and creativity and fun and connection. And so I really hope this video is a little bit of a reminder to do that, to do all of those little things for yourself, to be open, to be loving, to really give yourself the safety and permission to feel joy. That is all from me. I hope this video was fun and helpful. I really enjoyed this format of just sitting down again. So let me know if you want more videos like this, like journaling videos. For everyone that has bought a Humble Ego journal, I'd love to know how you're finding it. I will link the link below if you want to get one yourself. And yeah, love you guys so much, and I'll chat to you soon.